My friends, welcome to our channel. Today I want to work on this beautiful model downloaded from studycadcam.com. Here we have this geometric shape that can be built in 2 layers, and I want to focus today's model building specifically on replication by arraying. In the forum, I have seen several of these posts coming lately where beginners in FreeCAD is trying to build this whole sketch in the same sketch and trying to build this complex model out of like 1 or 2 sketches, the whole thing. The point is we can take one repeatable unit and then build off of it and then replicate that later on. So that makes it our life a lot easier, and that's what I'll be focusing on today. I have FreeCAD 1.1.0 developers version installed on this computer, so I'll be using that. But if you are using FreeCAD 1 or 1.0.1, the current stable version, it will be the same except one thing maybe. So I'll tell more about that when I use that feature. But other than that, it should be the same. I'll also be using both part design and part workbench, so I can show you how to use 2 different kind of array out of these 2 workbenches in this model. So with all of that, let's go ahead and start building this model. I'll start with a new file, and then I'll pull in that technical drawing into this workspace. So just drag and drop works. Here this dimension is given as 100 millimeter, but we will have to make sure that's 100 millimeter measuring of the image. So let's do that. Let's calibrate this image. So double click on that image, and on this panel on the left, what I want to do is I want to go to calibrate, and I'll have to do 2 clicks. So one click will be at the end of one end of this 100 millimeter dimension, and another click at the other end. And now in this middle cell here, type in 100 from your keyboard and hit enter there. So that is now calibrated. If you want to verify your calibration, pick another spot and do the calibrate. So don't do the second click, but here it says 50 millimeter, which matches this value, so I guess we are fine. Hit escape, and now transparency, make it 50. It will come in handy later. And then we want to keep it on XY plane. We'll be using this plan view to work, and so XY plane works fine there. And now, so we will start with part workbench, and then we'll move on to part design later on. So part workbench, one of the shortcomings, not a limitation, but one of the shortcomings of part workbench is it does not show the center of the workspace right away. So what I want to do is I want to view that. So go to view and go to toggle axis cross AC. That will show you the center of the workspace, and then bring in the image, and you can see that the image is like definitely not at the center. So this is our image center, and I want to move this center to the center of the workspace. So that's part of the image processing. So right click on the image, transform it, and make it like I did it 0.1 millimeter. You can work on it like as a 1 millimeter increment. So I want to use these 2 axes to bring it in the center. Nearby value would be fine. That's dead on center, so that works. So that's the end of the image processing. Hit AC on the keyboard. That will take away that axis cross. We don't need that right now. Now, as I mentioned, I'll be starting work in part workbench. Here I want to start with a sketch. So sketching is the first step of modeling. So let's do that. Because the image is an XY plane, we want to start in the XY plane. Now here I'll have to sketch one part. So which part I want to sketch? My goal is to build this lower part first. So I can see when I'm building the lower part, this upper part, so these three ends, I'm not keeping that in my consideration. I think out of this lower part is like a hexagon. So taking these six sides, I believe taking this part between this part would be much easier for me to draw. So I'll do that. I'll take the polyline and draw this boundary. Because the image is calibrated, if we go off that image direction, it will be almost perfect. But we want to make it perfect. So between these two edges, hit D on the keyboard. So select these two edges, the axis and the one of the upper edge. Hit D on the keyboard. That will bring in the dimension. So apply 60 and hit enter. So that's one edge. And do the same on here. There. So these two are bound by that. I think these two are equal in length. So there it is. And the length is 50 millimeter. So it's not directly given here, but you can do some calculations. It will come out as 50. All right. This distance, this axis, this edge is symmetric by the axis. So take these two ends and take the axis as the third choice, and then hit S on the keyboard. And now let's do this distance. This distance is 100 divided by 2. So take this point and hit D on the keyboard. So that will bring in the axis. Based on where you're taking your mouse, it will be different kind of dimension. So bring it downward and apply a 50 millimeter dimension there. So we have 1 degrees of freedom, which is this side, the length of it. I think this is 50. So let's see. Take that, hit D on the keyboard. That comes around like 57. I don't know about this length, but we know the angle 60 degrees. So take these two ends and hit D on the keyboard and apply 120 degree angle. So we got away without having the length here. So that's a fully constrained sketch, and I can see that there is a hole in the middle in this part right there. So let's draw that hole as well. So this is 12 millimeter diameter hole, and that is sitting on a circle of radius 38. So the distance between this point and the axis, the center, is 38 there. So that's my first sketch. Let me hide this image by hitting space. And so that's my first sketch. Now this is sitting right at the origin. Because I want to build this lower part first, tell you what, I want to move it downward. So I'll select that sketch and extrude it for 20 millimeter, but make it downward and hit apply. So it is going downward. So that's one part. Now there is a depression right here. It will come at this location. So what I want to do, I want to draw another sketch right at this location, but it is at the origin. So I don't have to attach my sketch to anything. I'll just draw a sketch on XY plane right there. And here I'll just draw this depression. So it will be something like this. To close it out, hit M with the polyline. That will bring in the arc, and I apply a tangency between these two. And so this point, the center, will be at that same 30, but first take this point, put it on the axis, and then apply a dimension of 38. Okay, we could also take this external geometry from the previous extrude and get away without applying this 38, but I know that for sure, so I didn't bother going for the external geometry. And let's make this one horizontal. Now let's make this symmetric by the axis, and let's come up with the total length. I think there is a radius somewhere here, radius 12. So this is radius 12, and that's it. Oh, there it is. it has to be on this edge, which was 50 millimeter from the origin. So that is my sketch. I cannot see it, so let me hide this image. That's my sketch. It will have to be depressed by 10 millimeter. So take that sketch, make a depression by 10 millimeters. So take it reversed, hit apply, close. And now I can make a cut. So keep this one, delete this one, and there. So that's my repeating unit. With respect to the image, that's where it is sitting in the corner. We can repeat that 3 times, and that will be the whole base. Let's hide this image now. So select this cut and go to draft workbench. Now because I built this part in the part workbench, I can easily jump into other workbenches and do some other stuff. So select that cut, go to draft workbench. In here there is this array tool. We will be working with polar array. The polar array is something that rotates around a circular center. So we will go with polar array right here. So as soon as you move this mouse, you can see that the center of rotation is moving right here. The grid showed up. I don't want the grid there. So this is the center we want, which is to be 0, 0, 0. So let's do that. We want a reset point, so it's all 0. After you reset it, don't bring your mouse over here because it's picking up the point by the mouse. So reset it, and in here, number of elements, I want to make it 3 and keep it fused, right? Hit OK. There. So there is my base. This is what it looks like. We build the base in part workbench, right? Now I want to show the same thing but in part design. So we will be working in part design. I have several other videos distinguishing between part and part design, and my last video on this series was how to combine 2 parts created in both part and part design. So like I put together in the Boolean operation. Today I will show you how to import a part created in part workbench to a part design body. So go to part design. First thing in the part design is to create a body there. So on the tree, there is this body showed up and it is highlighted and bold. Double click on it. The boldness will go away, highlight will go away. It means this body is not active. In part design, you would always have to have an active body. So double click on this body to activate it. And then if you are planning to use anything, any part object or like any other objects created in any other workbench into part design, bring it in as the first object in the part design body. So I want to use this array into the body. So drag and drop it in here. That will create a base feature. Select on the base feature, and in the data you will see that base feature is linked with the array. So that's the array. So if you rename this array to array from part workbench, and now you can see that base feature is actually the renaming is reflected in here there. So that's the link. All right, so we got the body and then array. That previous object has been hidden from our tree, but it's there. We can see that, but it's hidden from the view. Now let's bring in our image. Now we want to build in this top part, so it will be I think this corner. So this corner would be my best bet. So I'll be building that. Now here, without selecting anything, let's start drawing in sketch. So I will be using the sketch button from the part design toolbar, not from my shortcut. So use that and make a sketch on XY plane. Hit OK. Here I'll start with a polyline and make it there. All right, and hit M. So polyline, you have to hit M to switch different modes of edges, or like geometric edges, and those are like circling. If you missed one, you can come back to it. Like that. I'll take this normal, delete that, so that disconnects it. Actually, this will be at the center, so will be this point there. I don't like the normal constraint. It messes up things every now and then, so delete that and connect these two. All right, let me hide this image because that is mixing things up there. Now make these 2 points together, and I want to make it horizontal. I believe this point should be on this axis, and this will be at 38 millimeters away from the origin, and this is going to be 12. I remember that from previous section. And there is, so this is radius 20. All right, so let's make that happen, 20. And I want to say, let's make these two equal. All right, what else? This angle. So this is going to be, oh, just take the edge, take the axis, and D on the keyboard. That's 60. All right, so in the previous one, we applied another 16 here. We can also do this thing. I can make these two vertical, V on the keyboard. Oh, that's too many. That's too many constraint. Let's Control Z that. I wanted to show you that that's also another option. I guess that's, oh, take these 2 points at here, make them centered. Now let's try that. There, it worked. So you don't have to apply 2 angles. You can make it symmetric, or like make them at the vertical points. So there are like different sets of constraints that you can apply on the same set of edges. All right, that's it. And I think close it out. Let's see. No, there should be a hole. All right, so I think this is the sketch that we were working on, and here there will be a hole of, that's going to be 12. All right, let's make that visible. It's sitting on top of this previous the base feature that we brought in. Now I want to extrude that. I want to pad it up for, I believe, 30 there. Now, yes, that is, so total length is 50. So we previously worked on 20. Now we upped it for 30 more. Now there is this cut that we'll have to work on. That's a 25-degree angle, but this beginning point starts at 25 from the center. So what I will do is, in the previously we built this part and then deleted it manually. Here we will be using the pocket function, so the deletion part is automatic. I can draw a sketch on this face, XZ face, and this time I will be bringing in this external geometry, this edge. Now if you are using 1.0 or 1.0.1 version, this external geometry button is bringing in the construction geometry all the time. But starting from 1.1, this is, if this button is saying solid here, this will be bringing in solid geometry. So if you are bringing in solid geometry, on this case, I don't want it as solid. So I want to select that and make it a construction geometry there. So here, that is, I want to make it the view section turned on. And this is going to be my pocket profile. As I said, this point will be at 25 millimeter from the origin. The angle between these two is going to be 25 degrees, and this could be right over there, right? Or somewhere here, it doesn't matter. It's a negative profile, so I just keep it hanging like that. And now I can pocket it, so you can see that it's cutting away things. So it's extruding and cutting things away at the same time. And I will make it symmetric to the plane, and I will make it through all, or like a really ridiculously high number, say 50. Yeah, that cuts things away. And hit OK. Okay, so we got that unit, the pocket. So here we have the base feature, we have the pad, we have the pocket. The base feature, we don't have to repeat it, it's there already. So pad and pocket, these two units, will have to array it 3 times. In per design, it has its own array button, the polar pattern, right? So select these two, go to polar pattern right here, and I can see that it started. Oh, they did that 2 occurrences. So one is here, one is there. Let's make it 3. And it looks really weird because axis, it's this normal sketch axis. I don't know which one that is. We want to make it the z axis. So base z axis, that's what we want to make. So always remember to add all the features that you want to replicate. For here, I added the pocket and pad. For some reason, the pocket is not being replicated. It's the pad only being replicated. So see if the transform body makes any difference. It does. All right, that's great. So that's also another change between FreeCAD 0.21 version and FreeCAD 1.0 version. This window is changed. But that's it. We built our model. We used polar array from part design and polar array from draft workbench. We built half of this model in part workbench and half in part design, but put them together in part design this time. So there was a lot of mixing here and there. I wanted to do it intentionally so you all know how to mix things properly. Normally, everyone, there is a saying like, if you are new in FreeCAD, don't mix things together in part and part design. You can if you know how to do it. In the previous video, I'll leave a link to that video. I showed how to put things together in part workbench. In here, I showed you how to put things together in part design. Always put this base feature as the first item in this body if you are doing things like bringing in things in part design. I particularly don't like this base feature thing. It's my personal preference. I don't know why it feels like, it limits my ability to go back to there and then change some things, and that time I'll have to relink my thing right here. So base feature, I hope it will get improved over the time. With that, I will close it out here. If you have any question, comment, or suggestion on this video or anything related to FreeCAD or my channel, please leave them in the comment section below. And thank you for watching. I will see you next time.